What's up, guys? Wanted to make a quick video about this Everflo 7 gallon a minute pump. It's a little 12 volt electric pump, 12 volt DC. The model is a EF700, or I'm sorry, 7000, 60 psi. This probably goes the same as the EF7000Q, which I believe just means it has quick connects instead of the half-inch threaded ports on it. Anyway, I use this for my soft wash setup on my pressure washing trailer, if you've seen any of my other videos. But basically, the reason I wanted to make this video is because I paid $200 for this pump, and that's about the going rate across the board. Okay, the first time I used it, it blew a fuse, and it blew it within 5 to 10 minutes of the first use. The fuse is right here inside of this thing. What really sucked about that is I didn't have any fuses with me. I learned my lesson. I got some assortment fuse boxes, kept them in my work truck, so that's pretty much taken care of. So I wired this to manufacturer's specifications also. They say to in the manual to use a minimum of 12 gauge wire, and I use 10 gauge, so it's a little bit thicker than 12. So there's that. It kind of eliminated that problem. But I also mounted it like this with the ports on the bottom, or the actual pump head part of it, facing down. That way, if the pump head basically gets a leak in it, it's less likely to leak into the motor. Well, I get to about the third job or so that I'm going to use this thing on, and I use it for probably another 10 minutes, and it just completely shut off. I swapped out the fuse in the positive power cable, and it still wouldn't work. Swapped the fuse out again just to make sure I wasn't putting a bad fuse in it or whatever. Still wouldn't work. So I had to go to the store. I bought another 5.5 gallon a minute pump, just the one they had on the shelf, and I got by with that. But anyway, I was about to trash this thing, and I kind of stopped myself. I said, I'm going to try to fix it first. So I don't want to throw a $200 pump that's 3 months old or whatever in the trash. So I figured it's got to be something simple if it just quit working like that, because this wasn't leaking. It wasn't smoking or making noises or getting hot, so I figured it was some kind of electrical issue. So what I did was I started taking this apart. This is where the pressure switch is in here. There's 3 Phillips head plastic screws. They're not plastic screws, but they're screws that are made for plastic anyway. So this is where the pressure switch mechanism is in here. And in here you have basically a pump head with valves in it, and then it has these pieces separate. If you ever take one of these apart, you'll see what I'm talking about. But the other one actually has the diaphragm with the they look like rubber suction cups almost. There's a bunch of them in there, and I believe they make these with Santoprene seals or whatever. But you'll see them anyway. I inspected all that, took it all apart. Nothing was torn. Everything was moving. It was functional. I grabbed the shaft on the end of this motor that sticks out here. It was turning fine. The bearing was good. No leaks, no tears in the bearing seal, nothing like that. So I'm like, okay, what's next? I went on Everflo's website. I looked up this model number pump, and I looked at the parts breakdown. This may also be in the box with this thing. I didn't look. I was already at my computer, but you can look at the parts breakdown and the whole owner's manual and everything on their website, so that's what I did. What I found was, as opposed to a lot of the 5.5 gallon a minute pumps that I've used, this one has a relay in it. Okay. This little metal box right here, it's like a metal cover. Okay. This is usually right here. Okay, it mounts on there about like that. There's 3 little Allen head screws in there. So I looked in there. There is a rubber gasket right here, okay? There's nothing under that. But apparently it didn't seal up too good in here. All right, so what I did was I pulled this relay out. Okay, the box just comes off. This is like a little rubber clip that kind of slides in here like a seal. Supposed to be a seal anyway. So I basically, this isn't the original relay. This is the new one. The old one is here. Let me see if I can get a good focus in on that. If you can see that information there, that's the one that was in it. And if you look on here, there's little numbers in these little square boxes in here. They're kind of hard to see. I had to get like my reading glasses out to see them, but I shook this thing and it sounded like something was loose in here, like something had fallen apart in it. And I was like, wait a minute. So I put it on a napkin. Okay, this is a towel here, but I put it on a napkin and I faced the prongs down and I tapped on it, and water was coming out of this thing. So I said, okay, water got in here, shorted this thing out. Let me look online, see if I can get a cheap one and pop a new one in there and just see if this is the problem. Well, I didn't want to wait. So I started looking around online, and you can get them from anywhere from like $5 to $20 online. But I was kind of in a hurry. I got a lot of other stuff going on. I wanted to see if this would fix it. Well, AutoZone had this one in stock on the shelf, and they were about 20 bucks. Okay. It's identical other than this little mounting clip right here that's on the back. But this thing will easily pop off. You don't have to use this. But other than that, they're the same size. The prongs are the same, and they have all the same numbers on them. Okay. So I took this thing and I tapped it on the ground like that, like I said, and water was coming out. So I knew it was probably bad because, again, it was almost brand new pump. I used the correct battery with it. I flushed it out plenty with fresh water after every single time I used it. So I knew it was something simple. In my trailer, obviously, you just saw it. It's not enclosed, and it did rain a few days after I mounted this thing. So I figured, okay, it's worth a shot. Anyway, I go to my local AutoZone. Here's the part number that they sold me. Okay. You can get that. Here's the SKU number and whatever that other number is there. It's a Duralast little relay. Apparently these are somewhat common in the automotive industry, I guess. But as soon as I popped this thing in there and put power to it, it worked just fine. So before I did this, I checked all the electrical connections. You know, here's the two wires. I've actually got them twisted together right now, but that goes to the switch. And here's the ones that go to the battery. I know that looks like it got hot and burnt up, but that's not from the battery heating it up. That's from me doing the heat shrink before you wannabe geniuses out there start making stupid comments. So anyway, that's what that was for. These were all good. It was getting power and all that, but that's what it was. So anyway, I just thought I'd share this because these pumps are not cheap, and I know a lot of guys that do soft washing use them. Maybe some of you in the pesticide fields, stuff like that, pest control, whatever. Maybe spray herbicides with them, things like that, fertilizer, whatever. These are not cheap, and I would definitely check this before you go throwing one of these in the trash, especially if it's not that old. So anyway, I appreciate y'all watching my video, and I hope this helps some of y'all out. So thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Thanks.